Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. Building wealth can sometimes seem painfully slow, but if you've ever wondered why people say things like money makes more money or the rich keep getting richer, there's a reason for those sayings and why they've stuck around for so many years. Wealth has a way of multiplying once you reach a certain level, and in this video, I'm going to be pulling back the curtain to show you exactly why that happens and what makes the 100K net worth mark such a major turning point and how you can work your way towards it with some smart strategies and the right mindset. In this video, I'm going to be giving you a straightforward mathematical breakdown. We're going to be using real numbers. We're going to have a real plan. And if you stick with me through this video, you'll not only understand how wealth works, you'll have a clear path to making this your reality. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Let's begin with a powerful example. Now, if you've been a long-term subscriber to my channel, then you'll be familiar with this from my compound interest video. But this is the Penny Riddle, and it explains everything that we're going to talk about today. Now, let's say that I gave you two choices. Option number one, I hand you $1 million right now, no strings attached. Or option number two, I give you a single penny today, but I double it every day for the next 30 days. Now, obviously, you know something must be up because I posed the question, but most people would instinctively take the $1 million because it's fast and it's guaranteed. It seems like a no-brainer, but if you take a step back and really look at what's going on with the second option, you'll see something magical happening. On day 0, you have 1 cent. On day 2, you have 2 cents. On day 3, it becomes 4 cents, then 8 cents, then 16. And then honestly, for the first 10 days, it's painfully underwhelming, right? It's not really much that's going on. You only have $10.24. After a week and a half, you've barely crossed the $5 mark. That's not exactly inspiring. But if you keep going, something starts to shift. By day 14, that little penny has turned to over $160. Still not a million, but now it's becoming very interesting. If you fast forward to day 19, you're over the $5,000 mark. Now you're starting to pay attention. And then it gets ridiculous. By day 25, it's over $335,000. By day 28, you're just above 2.6 million. And of course, by day 30, that same penny has turned into over $10 million, all because of one thing: compounding. Now, the penny example is dramatic, but it demonstrates an unavoidable truth about building wealth. The beginning is always slow. Sometimes it's painfully slow. But once you pass a certain point, your money stops depending on your effort alone. It begins working for you. That tipping point for most people is around the $100,000 net worth mark. At that point, compounding returns stop being just a concept that you read about, and it starts to actually become a reality that you can feel. And it's not just some random information that I'm regurgitating. I spoke about this in my passive income video. This same concept that I'm talking about makes me more money than anything else I'm doing currently. I also have an entire playlist called 0 to $1 million, where I started uploading videos documenting the process of me reaching $1 million. Now, I haven't done that yet, and I should have an updated video for you sometime in July, or I'll have a video update in August. But the reason why I bring that up is because it lets you know this concept does actually work. So let me show you why the number $100,000 is so critical and what happens when you finally get there. Let's say that you can save $10,000 a year and you can invest that $10,000 at a 10% annual return. I'm not going to use anything extreme, just basic stock market returns averaged over time. In year 1, let's say that you end with $10,000 that you saved. Now in year 2, you're going to actually invest that money at 10%, and then it grows to $11,000. So you decide to add another $10,000 in savings. Now you'll end that following year with $21,000. In year 3, your $21,000 grows to $23,100. So you add another $10,000 more, ending at just over $33,000. Now, if this keeps going, after about 8 years, you'll finally cross the $100,000 threshold. But here's the catch. The first $100,000 is mostly your own sweat and sacrifice. You've worked for it, you saved for it, you fought for it, and about $72,000 of that $100,000 total came from your direct income. That's you working and putting in the money. And that's the reason why the first $100,000 is so tough. Only a small chunk actually came from investment gains. But now here's the turning point. Once you hit that $100,000 mark, the game completely changes. From that point, your money starts to actually help you save. It begins to pull its own weight. That next $100,000 will take you from 100K to 200K, but instead of it taking 8 years, it only takes about 4. The third 100,000, it shows up in just 3 years. Eventually, your investments actually start growing faster than the amount of money that you're saving. And that's where wealth starts to become kind of fun. There's a saying that the first $100,000 is the hardest, and it's not just a cute phrase, it's mathematically true. It's why rich people seem to always get richer almost automatically. It's because they've crossed a threshold where money compounds fast enough to create meaningful change without needing more human effort. When you've reached that number, the cost of living is not outpacing how much money you're able to create from compounding your own money. And that's where wealth is actually born. Wealth at that level, it feeds itself. Returns grow on top of returns. Investments spin off cash, and that cash buys more assets. It's a self-reinforcing cycle. But the flip side of that is true as well. If you never get to $100,000, you may never feel that momentum. You'll always be stuck in phase 1, which is the slow part. The grind, the part where you're sacrificing and it still feels like nothing is changing. So the goal, the first milestone that matters is, of course, getting that $100,000 net worth as quickly as possible. Not because $100,000 is enough to retire on, but because once you hit it, everything else will accelerate. Now, let's be real. Most people are not going to save their first $100,000 in a year or even 2 years. For most people, it's going to take time, years of saving, budgeting, and consistent investing. But just because it's hard doesn't mean that it's impossible. If your net worth is currently under 6 figures, the most important thing that you could do is become hyper intentional about your money. That means understanding that most of your first $100,000 will not come from investing, it will come from discipline. It'll come from cutting unnecessary expenses, from resisting lifestyle changes, from driving an older car just a little bit longer, not eating out, from taking advantage of every employer match, every side hustle, any extra dollar that hits your bank account. It'll come from living well below your means. And again, as I have mentioned plenty of times, it will mean a lot of sacrifice. And there's nothing sexy about that. Aggressively saving money, it's not glamorous. No one's posting this on Instagram or TikTok. It's just really hard. But this is the phase that separates those who break through from those who stay stuck. You do this not because it's fun, but because once you're past it, life gets a whole lot easier. Now, here's the trap many people fall into. They focus on cutting back, which, don't get me wrong, reducing your spending is a powerful thing, but there's a ceiling to how much you can cut. However, there's no ceiling to how much you can earn. And in today's world with inflation pushing up the cost of everything from rent to groceries, cutting back alone just isn't going to cut it anymore. You've got to grow your income too. And that means asking for a raise from your job, changing jobs altogether, starting a side hustle, selling a product, or creating content. You can do freelancing or just anything that puts money into your pocket without increasing your expenses. The more you make, the faster you can save. And when you save more, you hit that $100,000 threshold that much sooner. Once you're done saving everything that you possibly can, the next move is to start investing, even if you feel like it's not very much, because remember, compounding needs time. The sooner you get started, the sooner you escape the boring phase and enter the explosive growth phase, which is the best part. You don't need to be an investing genius. All you have to do is be consistent. That means opening up a Roth IRA, contributing to your 401k, use a taxable brokerage account, and if you max out all your other options, focus on broader index funds or ETFs. The key here is really to keep going paycheck after paycheck and just continue investing. Now, while investing in stocks and retirement accounts is a great place to start, another strategy I'd personally recommend is buying a home, and not just for shelter, but as a wealth building tool. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on the last few months. So let's say you're able to save up $40,000 for a down payment. That allows you to buy a $400,000 home, assuming you get an FHA loan. Now, even if you don't put down 20% like with a conventional loan and you have to pay some PMIs, that house is yours. If the housing market grows by 10%, your $400,000 home is now worth $440,000. That's a $40,000 increase in equity. And here's the part that many people miss. You didn't have to save that $40,000. The market gave that to you. That's leverage growth. So if you know where you want to live and you plan on staying put for a while, and if the numbers make sense, real estate can be a solid tool for growing your net worth faster. Now, if you're not ready to invest and you're still saving for that down payment, don't just leave your money sitting in a regular account. You need to put it in something like a high yield savings account. Now, at the time of recording this video, there are many online offerings of 4% interest rates, and that may not sound like a lot, but that's free money for just doing nothing at all. Just make sure that the bank is reputable and you do your homework to avoid anything shady or overly complicated. If the bank is offering rates that sound too good to be true, you might want to avoid it altogether. So let's go ahead and tie all of this together. Getting your first $100,000 isn't going to be easy. It requires grit, it requires sacrifice, and it requires you to take control of both your spending and your income, but we can see that it's definitely worth it. Once you hit that first milestone, the game changes forever. Your money starts to grow without constant effort, and the bigger your net worth becomes, the faster that it actually grows. Not because you're working harder, but because the system that you set up is working harder for you. And that's the true magic of compounding. If you want to know a good place to start this process, I have a video that I released that shows you actionable steps to save your first $10,000. I also have a spreadsheet that you can download for free to help you save money, and that's going to be on my website, successwithstevensmith.com. After that, I recommend you watch my video on how to turn $50 into $30,000 in 60 days. And if you really want to take this to the next level, I have a bunch of videos on how to start a business. Starting a business allowed me to make $100,000 in less than a year, and this was in combination with extreme savings, discipline, and determination. So I know firsthand something like this can be done, but I also know I'm an outlier, which is why I gave more practical advice that can apply to almost anyone. However, the choice is really up to you at how fast or slow you want to accomplish this. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If I could leave you with one message, then it's going to be this: trust the math, trust the process. Don't get discouraged by slow progress in the beginning because that's normal. It's like planting a seed. Nothing seems to be happening for a while, and then one day everything just blossoms. If I were starting from scratch today, my focus would be crystal clear. I would just invest consistently. I would increase my income, and I would spend far less than what I make, saving aggressively until I hit that first $100,000, and that's going to be the launching pad. And that's pretty much exactly what I did. And once you get to that point, you'll finally understand what all the financial gurus and people on YouTube meant when they said, let your money work for you. Because after 100K, it actually kind of does. Once again, thank you for watching this video. If you're on this journey, I'm rooting for you because I know it's not easy, but I also know that it's very possible. Stick with it, keep going, and I'll see you at the next milestone. Have a great day.